Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here, and it is Thursday the 3rd of April. Thanks again for watching weatherweb.net. I thought what we do today is just take a look at the long range, because the Koreans have updated their global atmospheric model today, and that's just become available. I wanted to show you that first. So then, here we go. This is their prediction, taking us from late April through to early May. Now, what I have to do first of all is to spin these around and zoom in on the charts as well for you. So this is late April, and so this is going from the period from about the 20th onwards. It's 500 millibar heights, and the anomalies are 500 millibar heights. And you see here what the Koreans are doing is they're trying to build a ridge across the northeastern parts of the states. They then have this trough feature here down through the western parts of the UK, and some remnants of it there showing across the Atlantic as well, but they're building quite a ridge down through Spain and Portugal. Now, this idea of the trough is something that most models are picking up on in the medium term. So this trough down here is something that many models are picking up on. What they're trying to do is to put the trough overall to the west of the UK, and what that would do would lead to an increase in the ridge of high pressure across Iberia through central and eastern parts of Europe as well. So this idea of the trough feature east of the country is one that's on many different models, and what that hints at is at more unsettled conditions towards the end of the month. The wettest of the weather, Scotland, Ireland, northern parts of England and Wales, but dry conditions down to the southeast. Now, remember, this is just one model, so I'm just showing you what this model says. By no means is this a forecast for late April. Then we get into the early part of May, and what they're trying to do here is to build a blocking high look in the Atlantic here. Then they're trying to build this trough down right the way through Europe into the northern parts of Africa there. And again, try to make early May fairly cold. That would come in on a northerly wind. So this is something we have to watch, because it's suggesting that it would be cold on that side of the trough. The problem that you have with troughs such as this is that on the eastern side of them here, you get a southerly wind, and hence it's warm in those areas. Not necessarily settled, but warm in those areas. On the western side of the trough here, you get a northerly wind, so you get very cold conditions coming in on that northerly wind. Often it's drier on that western side, but it is much colder, and the Koreans put us on that colder side of the trough. Now, by no means would I be taking that as gospel at the moment and panicking that that is the way that things are likely to be, because it's too early days, and to try and position that trough is something that's going to be very, very tricky. But certainly the idea that it's there is something we've got to pick up on, and we'll take a look at the CFS in a minute and see what that does. And then into the middle part of May, still got this ridge out in the Atlantic look, but it has the trough then moved eastwards, becoming a major feature. So we'd have lower pressure here across the east of Europe, and that would bring in north or northwesterly winds through the UK, keeping it cold and bringing showers as well. But probably what we would find is this ridge building in, going eastwards during the latter part of May, bringing dry conditions. Now, of course, you can guarantee the phone rings when I'm doing these recordings. But anyway, on to the 850 temperatures for the same time. Again, this is from the Korean model. So we'll spin those around, and we'll show you first of all the latter part of April. There we go. So what we've got on here is warmer air. These are 850 temperatures, so don't forget this is 5,000 feet, but it gives us an idea as to where temperatures are going. And you can see here this warmer slot in here. Look, so it's gone for a warm late part of April, despite that trough being in place. But look at the difference for early May. See the blue colours there? Temperatures below normal, so cooler conditions. It's forecasting to set in during that period. And then if we just look at middle May, well, look at that. That's cold going into the middle part of May. So certainly they like this idea of May being cold to start with. Pressure-wise, as we've just seen, late April looks like it's got low pressure across Scotland, high pressure down to the south, and we've got that southwesterly flow. So where the blue colours are on these charts show us where pressure is below normal, red is above normal. Into the early part of May, look, there's that high building out to the west, and I was showing you Here's the blue colours associated with low pressure to the east, and there's that more north to northwesterly flow. And then into the middle part of May, this then shows us that there's the high out towards the west. Look, there's the low to the east, and again we've got this flow coming in from a north or northwesterly direction. So again, those chilly conditions. So what about the CFS? What does that say? Remember, that was the Korean model that I showed you before, but it's important to compare between various models. This is week 1 from the CFS. It's 500 millibar height anomalies, and week 1 it's got this trough out towards the west, the high pressure out towards the east, and that south to southwesterly flow, which of course is what we've got at the moment. Week 2, it tries to build in a significant ridge look out towards the east of the country. Not sure about this really. CFS has wanted to do it consistently, but I think what's more interesting with CFS is this idea here. Look, that trough out towards the west. So I think we're in one of those situations at the moment, and this is what we've been advising private clients for some time, is that actually it's the pattern from the GFS that's most important at the moment, not necessarily the details. Into week 3, so this is now getting into late April, and it's very similar with the idea of high pressure out towards the west, low pressure out here towards the east. So it's again, it tries to get that idea of the trough in here, look, through the Atlantic, and I think that's going to be a feature of the weather through spring, is this idea of trying to get that trough in place. Now remember that on the Korean it was suggested that this trough would be in place during the early part of May, but more especially across the country. But I think this pattern idea of that trough is the one that we're going to see playing out through various different models, and even into the latter stage of April, early May. Look, here's the trough out towards the west again. There's the ridge out towards the east. So you see how these patterns between the Korean and the CFS shape up actually to be very similar in saying there is going to be a trough, there is going to be a ridge, and what that does is it hints that the westerly flow across the Atlantic is probably going to be broken down. Now, the problem is it suggests one or the other of either cold conditions or warm conditions, and that's what we're going to have to be focusing on just at the moment. I tend to think that the CFS here probably has the upper hand in the position of the trough at the end of April. I think it will be across the west of the UK and across Western Europe, bringing unsettled conditions there. And I think what will happen is that the trough will transfer eastwards into the early part of May, and then I do think that we'll see the ridge build back to the west, and I think the pattern probably is going to end up something like that. So we do have the high out to the west, we do have a low out towards the east, and I think we do go cooler for the beginning part of May. But in no way is that a forecast at the moment. It's simply the guidance as we look through these charts and the suggestion as to what the charts are trying to show us here. Now tomorrow, Friday, we'll have the excuse me, the update from the Japanese model for the next month, and as you know, we prefer that as one of our preferred models, so it'll be interesting to see what's on there. But for now, thanks again for watching weatherweb.net. Remember that we kept free of charge because of you coming back and using the site and going around the site and using the charts, etc., because then we can put more adverts in front of you, and that's what keeps us free of charge. So thank you for doing that, and thanks again for watching, or whatever you're doing. Have a great day and keep the sun shining. Bye for now.